For today's cup of coffee with Scream.
Cup of coffee.
Extra Scream.
Scream.
Oh! My day of rest, and that didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Anyhow, something that is happening, and we got so much going on right now that it's kind of crazy. And Leo King did upload a YouTube video where he did with Natalie Sady, and I like Natalie a lot. Mm-hmm. And 4 hours. So that took me all day, basically. Because for me to sit and listen to a 4 hour anything, that's cumbersome.
It's painful. It's painful.
I mean, it can be something that I am enjoying greatly, but to devote 4 hours, I just don't have it in me.
It's ADHD.
I don't know that most people do.
It's ADHD. It's like, no, can't focus on this for too long.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even as far as when I was in college and stuff like that, I mean, I had to have something because I did not have Stratera. And
you do now.
I do now. But even with the Stratera, to expect me to sit for that length of time and pay attention and different things like that, and that's difficult.
Yeah.
And most of the time in my life, I don't have 4 hours without some kind of distraction. Ever.
Well,
maybe at night. I think even then the cats pow at the doors, but it's just that I'm oblivious to the point that it just,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I try to stop the cats from pawing at your doors as much as possible.
But he does have some valuable information, and it's sobering. But I will say that he was courageous enough to delve into some subjects that needed to be spoken about.
Yeah.
And
I didn't listen to the full thing.
And it's one of those, the problem that I had was when he started the blasphemous stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. He can believe whatever he wants to or not believe whatever he wants to, but you don't have to be blasphemous. That was highly offensive to me. Mm-hmm. And that was when I unsubscribed. And I had subscribed to him for years.
Right. But you just had enough.
I had enough. Yeah. And it's like, I had been a supporter, and this is not going to be a Palmer bashing session. It's not. This is actually encouraging people to go and listen to what he has to say, because it is valuable. Mm-hmm. And that I was subscribed to him prior to the Coof thing, and that he was one of the few that told the truth about it.
Yeah. And
he lost a lot of subscribers because the New Age community is like many of these other communities. They want this echo chamber.
Yeah, they don't want to hear anyone else's opinions or knowledge.
They want to hear everything is love and light and unicorn farts and all that stuff. And that's not the reality of the season that we're in.
No.
And we've had a lot of these communities over the years that do that. Do I ultimately think, as far as end goal, that everything that love wins, that God wins? Absolutely.
Yep.
What we go through from point A to point B, that's what needs to be discussed right now, because we're going through this.
Yeah.
Like I said, we bought a ticket to this ride.
We did, but we need to know how to navigate it.
Absolutely. Because we've got stormy seas. Mm-hmm. And for some other people that didn't want to listen, their seas are going to be more stormy.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to sit and give somebody a Cliff Notes synopsis of what Palmer said. But yeah, go and watch it. If I remember, I will put a link to it. But one of the things that I have noticed, and some of this may be as far as stories that pique people's interest, readership, clicks, whatever they're doing these days. And Palmer also talked about the algorithm and how to do that and manipulate that, and it's like, whatever. I don't even care enough to learn how to try to do all that stuff. But I've always figured that those who are meant to listen to us will find us.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been my theory on it. The alien story. And that has never been the media, the mainstream media, which we know those are the propaganda merchants, have never let that go out of public consciousness for several years now. And with everything that is going on currently, the Project Bluebeam, which would be a fake alien whatever, that's still on the table.
Mm-hmm. Still very much on the table. And who knows what else they're doing with that Project Bluebeam. That Project Bluebeam may just be like a step one to an actual something.
Well,
like actual UAP invasion. Not the UFOs. UFOs ain't man-made.
No. I mean, these are extraterrestrial beings.
Mm.
And it was funny because on X, I did post, because as far as Nancy Pelosi saying we're reptilian.
Yeah, full on admitting it.
And,
live.
And, as far as, she means this. Really? Does she?
Lizard.
Yeah.
Fucking lizard person.
And one of the reasons that Ike stopped talking about that, David Ike, years ago, was because he caught so much flack.
Yeah, but he was hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. So could some of this stuff be thrown into the mix over the next several months? Absolutely. Absolutely it could. And as further evidence of this, Lou Elizondo, he did a interview with Russ Coulthart, and Mr. Coulthart was the reporter who broke the story. Oh my goodness, what was his name? I've forgotten what his name was. Before the congressional UAP hearings.
Yeah.
And so he had sat down and they had released a video. He had released a video interviewing, Lou Elizondo today. And I'll put the link to that. And Elizondo is a very controversial person because he worked at the Pentagon and came out as a whistleblower about how they were dealing with UFOs, UAPs, different things like that. Mm-hmm. And he has also recently started a YouTube channel.
How do we know that he's not a misinformation?
We don't. And that's the thing, as far as anytime somebody has worked for some of these agencies, you've always got to have that question in the back of your mind, because these people are trained to mind fuck people.
Yeah, ain't that some shit?
And if you go back far enough, all the way back to Roswell, and all the different players in that it was their job to mind fuck the public.
Mind fuck.
So we don't know.
Foamy the squirrel, mind fuck.
But in the interview with Mr. Coulthart, and that's on NewsNation, like I said, I'll remember to put the link on that, hopefully. They had also included in the interview Lou Elizondo's wife. And because after he came out as a whistleblower and him getting all the flack and different things like that, which boiled down to her getting flack, and they said that the hardest thing for them to deal with was people questioning their patriotism. And even the comments, I was watching this live today. This is obviously before I listened to Leo King's thing. And the comments were so divided. Now, a lot of us understand that on live streams and stuff like that, you do have glowies that come in to stir up division.
Yeah.
Which is horrifying. I mean, it
is horrifying, because how do you know to trust someone?
Exactly. Sorry, it's goldenrod season, and so the allergies are worse. You don't. You don't. And this is another form of suppression of speech. Because you don't know that what you put online is not being gathered. In fact, let me state this. We do know that whatever we put online is being gathered.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's sort of been a topic for a long time. I don't know how many years now as far as data collection, data selling, data leaks.
Since 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was interesting because I heard Bobby Kennedy today talking and saying about the 5G and the different things like that and the satellites and all that stuff. And I'm like, people will maybe finally listen, because this is the same thing that Alex Jones has been saying for decades.
Mm-hmm. Alex Jones is right.
Yeah.
Alex Jones was right.
Yeah. And even as far as questions, is he compromised? We don't know. There is so much paranoia going on right now that it's very, very difficult. And we understand that doubt, and that's one of the devil's oldest tricks. Did God really say?
Yeah.
To make people question and doubt other people. To make people question and doubt themselves.
It's some shit. It is some
bullshit. It truly is. But it's also one of these, when somebody does have a new book or whatever, it's sort of, they do get more publicity because people are helping them sell their product.
Mm-hmm.
So that always is in the back of my mind. It was just like these, the televangelists, the mega church people and stuff, and it's like, oh, I've been given this revelation, and for $59.99, you can hear the rest of the story. And it's like, that is not God. God does not put a price tag on things.
Nope.
So that has been going on with Lou Elizondo. It's worth listening to, or I thought it was worth listening to. They had also covered, even on Daily Mail, as far as them referring to this interview from NewsNation, which is, interesting, because some people don't. Instead of them getting their own interviews, they take and make stories from other people's work.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't cool.
No.
Don't be lazy.
Oh.
Don't be lazy. But also, it's beneficial. Was it beneficial for, NewsNation or whoever I said that it was? Yes, NewsNation and, Mr. Elizondo. Yes, it is. And then there was also another, and I, did not read this before we started recording. There was another story on Daily Mail that came out on August the 23rd. We're recording this on August the 24th, 2024. That a gentleman from Los Angeles had claimed, as far as that he witnessed aliens fleeing from a UFO after it crashed in the desert. And that was years ago.
What?
So that was just another story to back this up.
Uh-huh. I haven't heard of that story at all.
Oh, this was as far as, in 1945, this man saying he witnessed the UFOs. And there are reports that as far as with UFOs and nuclear operations.
Eh?
Yeah. Yeah. Even as far as that they had interfered with Russian and U.S. missile silos in the past.
Is that how nuclear plants came to be?
No. No, this was as far as... No, this was as far as weaponry and stuff like that. And then there was another story that was on August the 17th that was about more Peruvian aliens. These was not those little tiny things that they had down there in Mexico that whoever was saying. That Jaime, what's his name, was showing. It's just like, oh, God. Now, these other things are interesting. They are interesting. And we don't know yet whether this is more fuckery, because there's a lot of fuckery that comes from some of this stuff. But point being, that was another story about aliens.
Yeah.
So there's more, when there's more than one alien story in a week, there's a trend. And I'm sure a lot of that has to do with, like I said, readership. It's too early for them to start doing. They're in October. Will they look for more of the weird stuff because of Halloween? Well, sure they do. Mm-hmm. But for most of the world, it's still August, and they consider that a little bit too early for Halloween.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So I want to know if this is more incoming distraction, smoke, mirrors, actual disclosure, something.
Right. I think this is going to be allegedly Project Bluebeam related.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been seeing a lot of people post stuff about that on TikTok, and it's kind of spooky.
Yes.
They saw lasers in the sky for some reason.
Oh, there's been Dane Wigington there was people with some of these wildfires and stuff that they had videoed lasers. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, this, and do we believe that the government has weapons that they're not disclosing to the public? Yeah. Are there people that they believe that is alien technology? Yeah. We know that as a species, mankind right now, we are clueless on so many things.
We are. Yep.
And Palmer does talk about that in the 4-hour thing. And that he was talking about in the next couple of months, and I think because eclipse season is coming back up again, because we have eclipse season every year.
Yes.
And so that's going to start a new phase of humanity, and he was saying that over a period of time, and it may have been until like March of next year or whatever, things are going to go on to where life as we have known it will be unrecognizable. Yeah.
Well, that's not ominous.
No, it was very ominous. It was very ominous. It was very sobering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, coffee breaks over back on your heads. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Just pay attention. Prayer. That's what. And it is so interesting to observe and to read human comments on some of these things that's going on right now on the political scene, on the global scene. And it's just like that there was a gentleman who he had another, it was sort of like X. It was another platform similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
And that he was, I can't think of what his name was right now. I was trying to scroll through X to see if I could find it. But anyhow, he was arrested when he got off of his jet in France today.
That's weird.
No, this is, as far as this globalist New World Order takeover, yeah, they're going for it because they know time is short. So be on your toes. Do what you can. I'm not telling anybody to live in fear, because there's things we can do something about, and then there's things we can't do anything about.
Right.
So this is why it's a matter of trusting God. We do what we can do and trust God that He'll do what only He can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Final thoughts, kid.
Oh. Keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah. Situational awareness all the time.
Head on a swivel.
And God love y'all. If you are in one of these large urban areas, I would, make some kind of plans to get out of there if need be.
How are they going to try to control the people who are out in the sticks?
Well, that's the question. It's just like in Massachusetts, there is possibility that there was this is allegedly that there was some of these Gates mosquitoes that was dumped up there. Yeah.
Loves it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would buy some, I don't know, DDT or something like that. You can go to some of these Army Navy stores and different things like that, and you can get some, and people's like, it's poison. Well, yeah, so is this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It does work. It's nasty. It always made me nauseous, but as far as, I don't know, they've got some of these all natural things. I don't know if you need to stock up on citronella oil or something like that could keep mosquitoes off of you.
Right.
Bats. Encourage the bats.
Yes.
They are a blessing from God.
Love on the bats.
Uh-huh. We adore bats.
They keeping us safe.
Mm-hmm.
They are keeping us mega safe.
Mm-hmm. We've always liked the bats.
Yeah. I wish we had fruit bats.
Yeah, those ones that are down in Australia, I think they call them flying foxes or something.
Yeah, flying
foxes. They're adorable.
They are.
Love them. There's somebody that over on X that posts frequently as far as those bats.
Mm-hmm.
I always repost it because I love them. They look like pups with wings. Those little faces. So
they're just adorable.
They are adorable.
They're lovely things.
Mm-hmm. If you've had experiences with paranormal or supernatural encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, tinfoil hats, and my God, those tinfoil hats, those of us that have been ridiculed and shamed and stuff for years, to those who did the ridiculing and shaming, there you go. That's it.
Up yours, dude.
Do that razor fist.
Fuck you, I was right. Fuck you, I was right.
We don't have the spinny chair or the cameras.
Not yet.
Anyhow, you can let us know your thoughts in the comment section. You can email us cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com if you would like to share something. If you've got prayer requests, you can send us, an email also.
Mm-hmm. And if you like this video, comment, like, share, most of all, subscribe. Also, check her out on X, previously known as Twitter, Werlanda, COCWS. Also, check her out on BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube at Werlanda's Cup of Coffee with Scream.
Yeah. On some of those places, you may have to type in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Depending on what device that you use. And we found that out with the kid with the new cell phone. And it's just like, well, hell. And it's all right. Like I said, we figure that God will send us who He wants us to have on our little paddling pirate ghost ship.
Mm-hmm.
Know that you are loved. Let's pray one for another.
Yes.
Treat other people the way that you would like to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.